I'm Staff Sergeant Doug Andrus. I'm one of the staff sergeants in the homicide unit. We are currently searching for a man alleged to have committed a homicide earlier this morning. At approximately 6:30 a.m., police received multiple reports of a violent incident in the street in the 100 block of Chaparral Valley Grove Southeast. When crews arrived, they found two women suffering from stab wounds. One of the women died at the scene, while the other was taken to a local hospital in serious, potentially life-threatening condition. The suspect fled the scene, and despite a ground and air search by CPS members, he has not been located. James Allan Christians, 65 years, of Calgary, is currently wanted on a warrant for second-degree murder, aggravated assault, and possession of a weapon in connection with this morning's incident. Christians is Caucasian, 5'9" tall, weighs 250 pounds, and has salt and pepper colored hair and blue eyes. Christians is associated to a 2013 GMC pickup truck, medium gray in color, with Alberta plate JRA Juliet Romeo Alpha 305. The victim has been identified as Carmel Leah Christians, 55, of Calgary. The accused is the victim's estranged husband. The service can confirm a previous dealing with the couple and that an emergency protection order was in place at the time of the victim's death. Anyone with information about Christians' whereabouts is asked to call 911 immediately. I'll now take your questions.
Can you talk more about the incidents that led to the emergency protection order?
Police responded to a complaint on September 2nd, 2013, and based on the information provided to police, Mr. Christians was charged with 2 counts of assault and threats. At that time, an emergency protection order was put in place.
What does that exactly do, an emergency protection order? Did it work in this case? Obviously not, but can you explain maybe what it's about?
Maybe what I'll do is Staff Sergeant Ryan Aliff is here from the Domestic Conflict Unit, and he can answer that question later.
How is the other woman doing?
The other woman is in stable condition.
Have police been able to talk to her about kind of what...
Yeah, she has been interviewed, and she provided a statement to police.
Can you say more about what kind of transpired?
What I can tell you is that police responded to reports of a stabbing in the area. Upon arrival, they found Ms. Christians deceased in the street, and the second victim suffering from stab wounds.
Were there other people who actually saw what happened?
There were other people who did call, neighbors in the area. As a result, they contacted 911.
They saw obviously the aftermath, but did they see what was happening?
There were people who heard the screams in the area and then investigated, and based on their observations, police were called.
Do you know if the incident happened inside or outside, or was there a break?
It happened outside.
And Christians living at that home in Chaparral?
Yes, she had been living with a friend of hers at that residence and had been doing so just after this incident in September.
And was the September incident the only other incident with police?
The only one that we were involved in recently.
So those charges from that incident, you mentioned 2 counts of assault. Was that against 2 other people, or were there 2 instances of assault on the same victim?
As far as the details or the particulars of the charges, I can't get into that, but he was charged with 2 counts of assault based on the information provided at that time, as well as threats.
Do you have any indication of where he is now?
No, we don't. We continue to investigate a number of locations and addresses based on the information we have at this time. However, he has not been located.
Have you searched his home in Queensland?
We have taken a number of steps to locate him.
Is he considered like dangerous?
I think that we should consider him a threat to himself and others, and that anybody who comes upon him should contact police via 911.
The second victim, is she the homeowner?
She resided at that residence where the victim was staying.
So they both lived in that house?
at this time. And she'd only been there a short period of time since the incident reported in September.
So the emergency protection order, he was just not supposed to have contacts, or were there other conditions?
I don't have the details on that. And
So,
maybe Staff Sergeant Aliff can comment on that later.
Do you guys believe, so the attack happened outside, do you know, how did the second victim get involved? Did she come out behind her?
It's our belief that she came out and was attempting to assist her friend, and at that time she was stabbed. She came to the aid of her friend, in other words.
So the deceased is the one who was attacked first, and then the other one was...
I'm not going to get into the details of the incident, but we believe that she came to the aid of her friend, and as a result, she was stabbed.
I mean, obviously you have to locate him first, but would these charges potentially be upgraded to first?
Yeah, this investigation is ongoing. We're in the very early stages of this investigation. It happened at 6:30 this morning, and it's only a number of hours. But we'll continue to gather information. Based on the information at this time and in consultation with the Crown Prosecutor's Office, the decision was made to charge second degree. However, we will continue with the investigation. We will further consult with the Crown Prosecutor's Office, and there is a possibility that this charge could be upgraded to first degree later on.
There was a vehicle outside the house. Is that her vehicle, the SUV outside of the chaparral home?
I'm not sure which vehicle you're talking about, and I don't have that information right now.
Was a weapon being recovered?
We have not recovered a weapon at this time.
Oh yeah, did they try to escape? I mean, we noticed that the incident seemed to have happened on a median of the roadway. Did they try to flee?
Yeah, I can't speculate on that. I do know that it happened outside the residence. We believe that the second victim came to the aid of her friend, and as a result, she was stabbed.
Do you know, like, was the woman, the victim, Carmel, on her way to work this morning?
I believe she was leaving the residence going to work.
Are there any children?
They have one son, and he's in his 20s.
Was been notified, I take it?
Yeah, we have talked to him. He was located, and we've addressed safety concerns with him as well, and a number of other friends of the deceased and the
What
accused.
safety concerns do you have?
Just safety concerns as far as we've investigating a violent incident here, and so we've interviewed them to get background information and address the potential of harm to the accused or others.
Have you heard from any other jurisdictions?
We have been in contact with other jurisdictions in regards to this investigation, and we continue to share information.
Do you know how long they were married for?
Over 20 years.
Are they divorced or just separated?
Estranged, so I would say separated.
Can you confirm that the house in Queensland is his residence?
No, I can't, not at this time. I can tell you that we're exploring a number of different locations to try and locate this individual. And we'll continue to gather information, and based on that information, possibly look at other locations too.
So you said the second victim, you said she resided in the chaparral house. Does she own that house?
I don't know if she owned it or not. I don't have that information.
Any more questions for Doug?
Just one, witnesses said that they saw him flee on foot, but do you think that he could be in the truck?
We know he left the area on foot as to, and that was just based on a visual from neighbors in the area. Once he was out of sight, we're not sure how he left the area. That is a possibility, and that's why we're releasing the information in regards to that vehicle.
Because you haven't been able to locate that vehicle?
No, not at this time.
If someone does see that vehicle in a parking lot?
Contact the police right away, call 911, and don't approach.
How long have these two people lived in Calgary?
That I'm not sure. I know they've been together for 20 plus years. I'm not sure how long they've been in Calgary.
But you don't believe they have ties to, like immediate ties to other communities, other cities?
I don't have information in regards to that.
This will get Ryan up to you guys for any kind of...
Hello. My name is Ryan Aliff. I'm the Staff Sergeant of the Domestic Conflict Unit.
Just for your last name.
AYLIFFE.
Can you talk more about the emergency protection order, the history? Did domestic domestic conflict have a history with this couple?
The Calgary Police Service had a history with this couple. It was that one event on the September 2nd. It was called domestic in nature where charges were laid. Not only was there an emergency protection order in place, but there was also conditions in place as a result of the criminal charges.
So what kind of conditions, and was there any follow-up?
I'm not going to get into the specific conditions. However, it is very common, conditions of no contact in a criminal release. An EPO is different. It's specific only to family violence or domestic violence. It is a civil order that gives the police powers of arrest to help keep the peace in domestic situations.
Do you know, was there any follow-up after that September incident?
What are you?
Like, did police follow up with them?
Yep. You know, in so much as after the initial call, we did reattend to keep the peace so that the victim could be relocated safely.
Was she still living with him at the time of that event?
At the time of the event, they were cohabitating.
And so you went back, like, at what time, you went back to help keep the peace so she could get belongings and leave?
Yeah, it's in domestic situations, if we feel there's a chance that things may become heated, we'll do what's called a domestic standby, and we'll keep the peace so that one or both parties can move items without worrying about a confrontation.
But that's kind of the last involvement.
That I'm aware of at this point. There may be some more through social agencies, but this quickly into the investigation, I can't comment on any further contact.
We seem to have a lot of these kind of incidents lately, sadly ending in the loss of a life. We had one a couple months ago with the shooting of a woman. And anyway, I'm just wondering, as domestic, are you guys busy, or is there domestic related homicides on the rise, or?
You know, statistically, we're not seeing an increase in domestic calls. We have a very robust spectrum of what we consider a domestic call in Calgary, and that's a good thing because it allows us to accumulate a lot of information about how families are dealing with stress and how people are cohabitating together, because we know from our experience that a lot of issues and very personal violent crime can come from domestic relationships. If you're speaking about anything in particular, you'd have to be sure about the case, but I'd say no. I mean, because we have such a broad spectrum of what we consider domestic, it may appear on the surface that we have a high number of domestics, but we do not. In fact, I'd say we are very busy because we are doing a lot of work proactively, education-wise. We're busy trying to prevent it from coming to these types of situations.
So is there anything else that typically happens after the emergency protection order, and maybe, helping somebody get their belongings? Is there any other things that happen?
Yeah, we are actively engaged with partner agencies that will contact a victim after charges are laid, talk about transitioning through different stages of the criminal process, and assisting them with any of their other needs, whether they're relationship needs or just more basic essential needs.
So we just don't know what happened in this case?
I haven't had a chance to speak to those agencies and what contact took place and when it took place, so I just can't comment on it.